Hello, so this is the first video on the channel. Today we're gonna do a full first-round mock draft. Now, the draft is only 2 weeks away. Now, I think there are gonna be some trades, but for the sake of the video, we're not doing it. If this gets 7 likes, I would do another full 2 rounds with trades. Alright, so the Pistons at the number 1 overall pick. Now, the number 1 pick is going to be Cade Cunningham. I'm not saying that he will be a Piston, but it will be Cade Cunningham. Now, I think the Pistons should trade down to the 2nd pick, but as I said, there's no trades. Now, a lot of people compare him to Luka, and that's a valid comparison. But for leaders, ball handlers, I think that's a very good comparison. For the 2nd pick, the Rockets, they're going to select Jalen Green. Having a backcourt of Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green would be so deadly. He reminds me a lot of Zach LaVine. In his rookie season, he's going to have some nights where he puts up 40 or 30. And you're going to be like, wow, why wasn't he the number 1 pick? But then he's going to have nights where he's like 2 for 15. But he's going to be a great piece to build around. He's going to be very good. With the 3rd overall pick, the Cavs are going to select Jonathan Kuminga out of the G League. Now, most people think Evan Mobley, but I just don't see the fit with I don't see it with Jared Allen. I think Kuminga to replace Kevin Love would be a no-brainer move. Good defender, he'll complement Garland. Now, I think the Cavs should trade up to the 2nd pick to get Jalen Green, because that would be an amazing fit next to Garland, assuming Sexton gets traded, which I think he will. It seems like he'll be traded to the Knicks. You might see a video about Sexton being traded to the Knicks soon, too. So, but Kuminga, he has great 2-way potential. He's a very boom or bust prospect. As you can see, I don't know a lot about him, but I feel like a ceiling for him could be prime Paul George, but he could really bust. Now, the 4th overall pick, now, you gotta take Evan Mobley. The Raptors need a big man. Mobley's there. Reminds me of Chris Bosh, LaMarcus Aldridge. But if he does not put on more weight, there's a huge chance he could be a bust. However, he has good offensive potential. He's a good defender. He can even stretch the floor a bit. So I like his game as a modern center. A bit of Bam Adebayo, maybe, too. The 5th overall pick. Now, you can't pass up. Now, some people, I think almost everyone would have Suggs going them, but I still believe in Markelle Fultz, and I think that after he regains from that torn ACL injury, I think he's going to really average 20 a game for them. Now, I'm going to have them taking Scotty Barnes. Everyone loves his attitude. He's very lengthy. I mean, he moves like Giannis. I'm not saying he's Giannis, but he has so much potential. He's a great defender. He needs to work on his shooting, but that's fine. He's kind of raw, but no. Also, just imagine, like, Jonathan Isaac, Scotty Barnes, and Mo Bamba, like, that blows my mind away. Like, that would be the best defensive frontcourt in history, maybe. Like, I'm being serious. That would be a nightmare. And now, the Thunder, they're in a dream right now. They're selecting Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga now. Shea had to do everything on offense. He had to always handle the ball. You don't want that. He's going to get injured like Harry did. He got some foot injury. Suggs can really take some pressure off. He has a very high IQ, and he's a winner. He comes from Gonzaga. That's what you want. Alright. Now the Warriors. Now this pick might be a bit of a surprise, but I'm going to have the Warriors taking Franz Wagner out of Michigan. Now, Wagner, he's never going to be an all-star in the NBA, probably. But I think he could be somewhat like Joe Ingles. Good defender, great shooter, great passer, high IQ. I think the Warriors need that. Now we're back to the Magic, and I think even though you have a lot of guards, you need some backcourt help. So I'm going with Keon Johnson, highest vertical in draft combine history, good defender. He needs work on offense, but he's only 19. Like, he has so much potential to be such a two-way good guard. With the 9th pick, the Sacramento Kings are going to select now this is interesting. Like, do you go with a big man? You really need one, but is it really worth taking like Kai Jones? No. So I'm actually going to have him taking Jalen Johnson, good defender, two-way combo forward. He actually left college early, so that hold his draft stock, but he's gonna be very good in the NBA. Great on transition too. The 10th overall pick. Now the Pelicans need winners and they need more shooting, and that's Davion Mitchell. Great defender. He's 23, but he shoots the ball. He's a winner. He's a defender. He's a good passer. He has a high IQ. He's going to be, as it says, an elite defender from day one in the NBA. That pretty much captures it. And he's going to give the Pelicans that winning guy that every team needs. Now, the 11th pick, the Hornets will be taking, actually, Moses Moody. You need shooting around LaMelo Ball. I almost said Lonzo. And that's what Moody is. He's a good defender, good shooter. Klay Thompson-esque. I think that's his ceiling. You say, why not Kispert? Kispert's a bit old, I think. You go with potential a bit more than NBA readiness here. Anyways, so the Spurs, they need shooting. That's gonna be Corey Kispert. He seems like a Greg Popovich guy, if you know what I mean, you know? Seems like something Greg Pop would like. And he's a winner again, like a lot of players I said. And he's a great shooter, solid defender. You know, he's not very fast, but so that's a concern. But his potential might not be up there, but he's gonna be a sure thing with his shooting. Now, with the 13th overall pick, the Pacers are going to select Josh Giddey out of Austria. Listen, they wanted to trade for Ben Simmons, so why not draft Josh Giddey? He even compared himself to Ben Simmons. Tall point guard, good passer, good rebounder. He's going to be good. The 14th pick of the draft is going to be Kai Jones. They just need a good big man. He reminds me of Miles Turner, can stretch the floor. 15th pick, the Washington Wizards will select. This is an interesting pick, to be honest. I think they should select James Bouknight, a potential Bradley Beal replacement. Good shot creator, good scorer. It's going to be interesting. The 16th pick, the Thunder kind of need a franchise center, and I think that's Alperen Sengun. Super good low post dude. He was the MVP in his league at just 18 years old. He's not a good defender, but he's a good rebounder, and he can stretch the floor a little. Now, this pick, I think they should just go with potential, and that's Zaire Williams. I don't know a lot about him, but he has potential. 18th pick, so the Thunder need more shot creation, and that's Cam Thomas, Kel Tamron. Good shot creator, wasn't very efficient, that's fine. Alright, my favorite team, the New York Knicks, now. For me, I think they just gotta go, Sharif Cooper. He really solves our point guard problems. He's a shot creator, great passer. Arguably the best, passer in the draft, but not a good shooter, and he's pretty small, so, you know. Alright, with this pick, I have the Hawks drafting Chris Duarte. You know, they love this shooting. They love it. He's gonna come from day one, be NBA ready, great defender, great shooter from Oregon. Now the Knicks are going to select Trey Murphy. Reminds me of Clinton J. Crowder, great shooter, great defender, 21 from Virginia, pretty good. And for me, you can't pass up on Isaiah Jackson from the Lakers. I think AD could mentor him a bit. He reminds me of a young Serge Ibaka who didn't develop his offensive game yet, but he has the potential, definitely. Now, the Rockets. They drafted Jalen Green, which I think is great, but they need a backup center, and that's going to be Usman Garuba. Great defender, played in Spain, stretched the full bit, potentials there, 18 years old. Now, I'll admit, some people I don't know a lot about, and Jaden Springer is one of those guys. I don't know, I just don't like him, but he's a good defender, he's young, he's athletic. And the Rockets need backcourt help. Oh well, okay. Alright, the Clippers. They need winning, they need a point guard. Jared Butler. Teammate with Davion Mitchell. Good winner, good shooter, good defender, good passer, good IQ. He's gonna be very good from day one. Alright, with this pick, I have the Nuggets going with. I think they should go with Brandon Boston Jr., a guy who they can stick in the G League. He sucked at Kentucky, but he was gonna be a top pick before the season, so the potential is there, the shot creation is there. They just need to develop him. They don't need the guy who they picked to be. They don't need him to be great right away. Like they can, like Brandon Boston can be in the G League. He can develop, and a few years later, he can maybe really become something special. Now with this pick, the Nets. Now, I think that you gotta go with Charles Bassett. Like he solves their problems. He's a good rim protector. Good rebounder. Clint Capella-esque, if you ask me, as his ceiling. Probably won't reach that, but potentially. And I may be wrong, but I believe he shot some threes at Western Kentucky. So, that's interesting. So he's kind of like a traditional center that can space the floor a bit, which you obviously want in today's NBA. Alright. Now, the second to last pick. So the Sixers here, this is such a steal. You need shooting, you need Trey, man. Could potentially be the point guard, and Simmons is the power forward, maybe, eventually. Reminds me of a current day Derrick Rose, not a young one with all of that. Like, he's not, like, he has a good floating game, good passer, solid defender, great shooter. And now, the Suns. For me, you draft the CP3 successor, and that's Ayo Dosunmu. Reminds me of Jrue Holiday. Good in transition, good defender, good shooter, good passer, good leader. And he's also a winner. And with the last pick, the Jazz will be selecting Quentin Grimes out of Houston. That may be a surprise, but he can shoot the light out, and he is a good defender, like a very good one. And that's what the Jazz want. They want people to force the opponents to go inside the paint where Rudy Gobert is great. And that's what Quentin Grimes does, and he can light it on fire from three. Reminds me a bit of Klay Thompson. I know I say that a lot, but yeah. Now this is the overview of my mock draft, so you can pause it if you want. So, this is it for me. If this reaches, I think I said earlier, 7 likes a couple of days before the draft, I'll do another one of these, but with trades. So it's gonna be pretty epic. Alright, I hope you enjoyed, and this is the latest mock draft.